Okay, I'm going to just tie a generic kind of parachute style dry fly this afternoon. This is in a size 16, this is a 16 FTB 103 fly.m4v boutique barbless hook. I'm going to use nano silk as my tying silk. I do like nano silk, it's very, very fine, very, very strong, but it's very slippery, so I do tend to use a little wax on it. So that's waxed nano silk. Just tie that in, and tags are very difficult to cut off because it's such strong material. So I'm going to tie down to the end, roughly the end of the hook. I think the tails, it doesn't really matter. I don't think what particular tails you actually put into these little dry flies, these generic dry fly patterns. I'm going to use some BWO fibres, but microfibets, anything would do. And I want the tail to be approximately the length of the hook, the length of the body. Tie it in, a couple of turns in there. One turn underneath the fibres, and that'll just splay them like that. A few turns on there just to hold it in place, and we'll just trim off the excess. Pretty much full length of the body. Okay, I'm going to come up to about halfway between the point of the hook and the eye. And for a wing, I'm going to use some CDC. Normally with a size 16 hook we'd be looking at probably just one feather, but what I do find is if you're just using one feather, they do tend to, they've got a natural curve in them, so they'll tend to actually curve away, or not necessarily in the plane that you actually want. So I find it easier or better just to actually use two feathers together. So I've actually got two CDC feathers here. We'll marry up the tips. And I've put them curving opposite directions. Okay, so I've married up the tips. And do a pinch and loop. A couple of turns to hold it in place. Pull through to my desired length. Just rotate it around so it's parallel. Good. Tighten up. So a couple of turns, extra turns on there. Okay, then to cut it off, I'm just going to cut it off at an angle down the body, because I'm going to create that little carrot shaped body using the CDC tag as a basis for that. So I go all the way down to the tail. Good. Then for the body itself, I'm going to use just some stripped peacock eye quill. This is one that I stripped this morning. Tie that in. Cut off the waist. And get the waist. Come here. Okay. My preferred way of tying these in, to move up to the net out of the way, is to put my finger on, rotate around, put my finger on, rotate again, put my finger on. I don't like using hackle pliers with this material, I think it's just too fragile. Good. Just unwind that. Put a single turn just behind the wing there. A couple of turns then to lock it down. Trim off the tag. Okay. What I want to do now is to lift up the wing, put a few turns in just under the wing just to lift the wing up a bit. Then I'm going to use just tying the hackle now. I'm going to use just a genetic whiting grizzle hackle, and I like to tear off more fibres on one side than the other. So as I rotate this hackle in, I'm going to rotate in the shorter side first. So just behind the eye, single turn in, pull the wing back out of the way, and tie down the tag in front. Good few turns. Okay, let's trim off that waist. Good. And then I'm going to park the thread now behind the hackle. Go away. Okay. Now the idea of actually using foam for a thorax I got from videos from Morten Urland. If you ever get a chance to see any of his videos, they are absolutely fantastic. He has some very, very, very innovative ideas in fly tying. But just a piece of 2mm closed cell foam. I've cut this so it's about the same length as from the back of the wing to the eye of the hook. And I'm going to just bend that up. I'm going to take everything inside the foam, so the wing and the hackle, all of it inside the foam itself. Hold that, and I'm going to do plenty of figure of 8 thread wraps to lock that in place. It does have a little bit of a habit, does this sometimes, of actually rotating around the hook shank, so plenty of thread wraps to hold it in. Okay, then the clever part is holding the foam upright is to put a couple of horizontal, reasonably firm thread wraps into the foam itself, which creates a little groove in the foam, which is where the hackle is actually going to sit. So when you actually then rotate the hackle around, it sits absolutely horizontal, just in that little groove. 3 wraps, something like that's about all we need. A couple of wraps around with the tying thread, trying to keep that underneath the hackle wherever I can. Maybe one just to go to lock the tag in. Okay, then we can either finish off by doing a whip finish underneath the hackle itself there, or we can just pull everything back and go for a more conventional finish off just behind the eye. Trying to hold everything out of the way is the problem with this. Trying not to trap too many hackles fibres in there is the problem doing it like this. I usually finish off actually underneath the parachute hackle. Okay, so cut through the nose silk. Then to finish off now, I just need to cut off the hackle stem and pull back, cut off the foam. So if I actually pull the foam firmly, I can cut that right the way down, just above the hackle itself. Pull it firmly, cut off. Shouldn't have cut off too much. Cut off a little bit of the wing there as well. Okay, so that keeps the parachute in an absolutely horizontal plane. Gives a very low floating fly. And finish off with a little bit of cement. I do think with these that it's a good idea to actually get a bit of the cement just in the the base of the, that little groove. There we go, just the spot just underneath the eye of the hook. There we go, that's one size 16 foam thorax blue and olive style parachute.